So about Damian Lillard, right? It's tough. Great player, by the way. Future Hall of Fame. We will not deny that, right? Just came off a season, I believe he was averaging like 30 points. Spectacular performance in playoffs. And I would never take anything away from Dame. Like, he's a great player. But at the end of the day, he makes above $40 million. And if you want a guy like Dame, you're going to have to make a choice. And you're going to have to be realistic about this choice, right? You're going to have to part with either RJ Barrett and some pieces, or you're going to have to part with Julius Randle and some pieces. And if you don't want to part with let's say you don't want to trade Randle or RJ Barrett, right? So what are you giving up? So you're probably giving up 6 first-round picks, something ridiculous. You're giving up Obi, you're giving up IQ, you're giving up Mitch probably. So you're giving up all your depth, right? And you're sacrificing all of your depth and most of your draft picks for a 31-year-old point guard with Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. In no world. And I don't know if you watch Loki. I don't know if you're a Marvel fan. I hope you are. In no world or alternate reality is Damian Lillard, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle a championship roster. No way in hell. And so now you look at the cap. Randle makes $22 million. Damian Lillard makes $40+ million, right? You want to keep let's say you keep an RJ Barrett. So RJ Barrett is going to make about $9 million, right? $40 million. Let's say you max Randle this summer too. So $40 million, $31 million, $71 million. You got RJ Barrett money. That's about $80 million. So that's $80 million between 3 players, dog. Go ahead. That's 80. That's 80. Oh God.
My bad. I had to mute it because they're doing fireworks in front of the building. But anyway, to put it in like proper context, man, like we're gonna have $60 million, but between 50 and 60, depending on who you listen to, right? So you painted that picture and all this other stuff, but who are we actually trading for Dame? That's the big question, because we don't have to trade anybody for Dame. We could just give them draft picks in cap space, but that don't even sound right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm Portland, I'm going to give away one of the best players in my franchise history, and I'm going to trade him for cap space and draft picks. It don't even make any sense to begin with.
Nope.
But it seems to be like everyone's on the tip of everybody's tongue to make this deal. In order to give them anybody, Julius Randle, we got to start off with Julius Randle. So that's $19 million off the top there. You would have to give. It isn't, no matter how you look at it, it doesn't make any sense, because our draft picks are 19 and 21. We don't have a high draft pick. To me, it really don't make sense, actually. From a Portland perspective, getting Dame here, it makes sense. Like, I guess you have to get a third team in there to try to get like a young player or maybe a higher pick to go to Portland, and to satisfy that a little bit, But otherwise, I really don't see it. Maybe like Minnesota, maybe if you want to. One of their guys from Minnesota goes to Portland, some kind of way. But other than that, I can't really see it. So from the Knicks perspective, like if we had Julius Randle and Dame Lillard, would that be enough? I mean, it wouldn't be enough, but at the present time, I think Dame, the first year, he's making like 40 something. Eventually it goes up to 50 something, his contract. You know what I'm saying? But like that first year, 40 something million. If we take on that money, and we keep Julius Randle somehow. We'll still have, $20 million to add to that. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know who that player is going to be. A few people put out today, even Sim put out something with Dame Lillard and Kawhi Leonard. A lot of people talking about that right now, but, I really don't see how it can happen. Because, yeah, good. Well, I was going to mention.
Continue your point.
I was gonna mention the whole Carmelo thing. You know, the Carmelo
Mhm.
trade was a whole different animal because we actually gave away real players. The Knicks don't have any real players, and we can't put it out there that we could sign and trade Reggie Bullock and Frank Ntilikina. That's I don't see how that could happen. I don't see how that makes sense. Does any of that make sense to
Real
you, man?
quick, I want you to stay on that topic, dog, because I wanna break down the whole context of what you just said, right? So when you said the Knicks in that Carmelo Anthony trade, we traded real players, right?
Right.
We traded guys who wasn't on 1 year deals, right? Gallo, remember we traded Gallo, Mozgov. We traded young pieces for Carmelo Anthony, right? And this
Right.
is a nut. This is where I bring it back to this season, where 60% of our rotation was 1 year vet mercs. You cannot trade for an all-star with those type of guys. So I'm so glad that you brought up the Melo trade. And then from your perspective, where did the Knicks mess up in the Melo trade? Just for people to like, for in your own context, like, did they mess up by trading for Carmelo Anthony in the middle of the season instead of waiting until the off season? Did they mess up by just trading for Carmelo Anthony in general? Where would you go with that?
Well, they should have just waited, man. I'm trying to pull it up now for the season. What year was that? 2013, 2012, 2013,
2012, yes.
2012. Okay, let's get that up here. Uh, we were already winning. We already had I think it might have been further back, man. Let me just see really quick. Because I mean, we had Raymond Felton. We was talking about him. He was averaging like 17 and 9 that year. We had Gallo was averaging double figures. Wilson Chandler was averaging double figures. Is this the year here? No, that's the 54. I believe it was even before that, man. Let me see, 2 seasons before that. It might have been the 2010-11 season. Trying
It
to figure out
was
exactly. Yeah, it was the 2010-11 season.
all right.
Yeah, so you
And
can see it.
we traded for him. Oh, that's the lockout season. That's
Was
the
it?
lockout season.
I don't believe so. Nah, that was a full season though. That we played 82 games that year. But the point I'm trying to make though is that if you look at the people that we had Raymond Felton, we had Wilson Chandler. Wilson Chandler averaged 16 5 1 assist, whatever. He was giving us 1.4 blocks. Gallinari was shooting threes. He was shooting 34% from three, I guess. He was giving us 16 points a game, damn near 5 rebounds a game. We had guys like Tony Douglas.
Percentages though. Oh my God, I didn't know Gallo was like that.
Yeah, man. These are good players, and then you want to add on some of these other guys like Timothy Mozgov. They ended up being a decent player. Going forward, a couple other guys too. The draft picks. We had Landry Fields on the team. We had a good roster, so we should have just waited. If we would have waited, we would have had all those guys that I mentioned plus Carmelo Anthony on the team. You know what I'm saying? So that would have definitely been a team worthy to fight to face against Miami and whoever else we were going to play against that year. You know what I'm saying? So. It's a whole different ballgame because right now, if you look at our current roster, we don't have anybody like that. We don't have anybody, even the guys that are 1 year mercs. These guys weren't even averaging double figures in scoring. Maybe a little bit. Like Alec Burke averaged a little bit over 10 a game or whatever. But these are not like guys that were averaging 16 and 15 a game. Contributing to winning and stuff like that. So. It's a very odd conversation to have because people keep bringing it up, but they have there's no parallel to it. There's no parallel to either season.
None, bro. And I'm so glad that you brought up those stats and for people to actually like see what you're talking about. So that was beautiful of you to do that, man. Because people they keep bringing up they'll compare the Dame trade to the Melo trade. And it's kind of the same thing, but it's kind of not the same thing because we had Amari on the roster already. You get what I'm saying? So we already had an all-star in the building.
Right.
When you trade for Melo, you get another all-star in the building. But you give up a lot of your depth. You give up a lot of draft capital. And then you proceed to start doing stupid moves. Prime example. you amnestied Chauncey Billups. We should have amnestied Amari Stoudemire and let Billups on contract expire. But I think the reason why James Dolan didn't amnesty Amari Stoudemire because of the media backlash. I promise you, bro. I think that's what it was. And Dolan, he was already on the hot seat for a couple of years, so he was like, "Yo, you know what? I'm gonna stay out of this." But
it was just a shit. It was just a shit show that during that time, man. Yeah. It was just we always seemed to step on our own feet. Even going forward, when Donnie Walsh and them came through, we had opportunity to work stuff out, but we just didn't do it. Well, actually, Donnie Walsh was the GM, I believe, during this time. But all the different guys, we always step on our own foot every single time we have something great going on. We always do something to mess up the whole scheme. So I mean, to fast forward to this current team, man, there's nothing really to mess up. We have a lot of dreams, a lot of hopes and dreams for this roster, but things that we do is nothing that really could mess up. Because like I said, like we're both saying right now, we have nothing but 1 year mercs. We only got like maybe a handful of people on the roster. Julius Randle's the highest paid player. Underneath him is RJ Barrett, I believe. So we're not really gonna risk anything, outside of these draft picks, and the draft picks are 19 and 21. So it's not like a heavy risk that we're gonna be putting against the team. Like something that we do now is not gonna destroy us for the next few years. That Melo trade kind of strangled over us for a while. We couldn't really get better, and then it's just Melo by himself. He's there. He's gonna take that blame. He took a lot of blame. A lot of fans were against it. People fighting against it, this and the other. But if we didn't make that trade, it wouldn't have sent us down that road because. When you do that, especially during that time, the payroll wasn't as high as it is now. So you couldn't have 3 guys with $80 million contracts. The salary wasn't really that high because LeBron and them, they had to take pay cuts to get on the roster during that time. So it's a different era right now. But at this current time, the Knicks can't really do anything to mess themselves up really. Even if we did do a Dame trade. But if we did a Dame trade, it would be game time. We would really have to start scraping and figure out who the hell wants to come here to play with him.
Then I'm gonna give you the convo I had with another Knicks fan earlier, OG dude from my job, right? So I said to him, and I asked him this question just so when I do this podcast with you, you could get a feeling of how other Knicks fans and older Knicks fans feel about the Knicks at the moment. So I asked him. I'm like, how do you feel about the 4th seed? You know what he said to me? They better get a top 4 seed next season. He didn't even finish the sentence. He didn't even let me finish the sentence. He said, they better get a top 4 seed next season. And I said, yo, how would you feel if the Knicks regress next season? He said, he looked at me, he said, ain't no way in hell they going to regress. So the expectation that the Knicks placed on themselves from making the 4th seed now is kind of looking like if y'all don't make a move, we gonna look at Leon Rose, and I don't want Leon Rose to feel that pressure. Am I bugging? Am I saying that? You're
not bugging, but Knicks fans are crazy, man. We got the most fans out of all fan bases, man. So like you say that, that people are gonna be mad that if we don't get the 4th seed, but then there's other people too that wish that we would lose. They're like, why are we trying to win? We should be losing. Why are we trying to get the 4th seed? We should be trying to lose every single game to get this. Everybody got that's the problem with being in New York. Everybody's smart. Nobody's stupid. Everybody knows everything. You know what I'm saying? So you have so many different ideas. Nobody's wrong. Nobody's wrong. But at the same time, if you pick a mode to operate in, if you pick a path, just like the Loki series, man, you pick a path. That's the the sacred timeline. You got the sacred timeline going on. You can't deviate from the sacred timeline. You know what I'm saying? You already see what happens in Loki, man. As soon as you start doing something off of the thing, it causes a ripple, and then you got to do a whole bunch of other immoral things just to get yourself back on track, man. So we definitely can't do that, man. That's like the perfect analogy. Okay.
Another thing too that people, when it comes to trades like this Damian Lillard trade. So I'm glad that they included the step-in rule where you can't trade back. You can't trade first round picks back to back years, right?
Yeah.
So, give you an example. When Carmelo Anthony was in a Knicks uniform, we could have drafted Jamal Murray. I'm still sad behind that. We traded 2 first-round picks for Andreas Bargnani, and the Raptors used one of those first-round picks in order to get Kawhi Leonard in their building. In the 80s, the Chicago Bulls used a Knicks first-round pick in order to draft Scottie Pippen.
Damn, State.
You know, like when it comes to when you want to do a trade like that, Diehard, it can't be for Damian Lillard. It gotta be for a guy like Tatum, guy like Donovan. Like it gotta be a guy who's youngish, but who's ascending up.
Yeah.
Damian might have 4 good prime years in him. He might, but when you're a Knicks fan, and plus the older Knicks fans, a lot of us remember Antonio McDyess. A lot of us remember some of these older guys that we got in the building. I'm scared.
Yeah, it's a big risk. Like you take on Damian Lillard. All right, let's say for shits and giggles, Portland says, you know what? Just give me cap space and fucking draft picks. Okay, cool. That's the only way that it works for us, because then we keep Julius Randle, we keep RJ, we keep all of the guys that mean anything to us, and then we add Dame to it, and then we still have a little bit of money left over, and then we can sign somebody. That's the perfect scenario for us. But that, I just can't see that happening. I can't see that. I can't see Portland, a team that's their best player they ever had. Better than Clyde Drexler, you know what I'm saying? Better than all the other guys that they ever had in their Buck Williams that they ever had in their career. Bill Walton, Dame Lillard is the top dog. So you mean to tell me you're going to trade that? We're basically telling the Portland Trailblazers to do the Ewing trade for us. You know what I'm saying? Because with Ewing, we had Ewing, same position, top of his game, declining and whatever, and we traded him for basically not a drug addict, alcoholic. We traded him for all these other different. Like we're expecting Portland to do what they did, what we did to Ewing. I really can't see that happening. It would have to be a third team. It would just have to be a third team. Because RJ Barrett and Kevin Knox and whatever else they say. Like, you mean to tell me those guys are gonna get Dame Lillard? Like, how, man?
Bro, it sounds ridiculous to me as you're saying it, bro. Like, literally, like, it sounds ridiculous. And thank you, my guy, 19 Conman, NYC 84. The Knicks can't have Randall, Claw, RJ, and Dame at the same time. Thank you, Jesus. Somebody has common sense. And I keep telling people, you don't trade, first of all, you don't trade for Dame without getting the understanding that Kawhi is walking through that door. But then it gets even deeper than that. If Kawhi and Damian Lillard is here, what role is Julius Randle going to take? So would he accept being pushed down the totem pole after he was anointed king of New York by guys like Fat Joe? Like, would he take it as disrespect? And I think he would. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't know about that, because if Damian Lillard is here and if we still got Julius Randle, then it's just them. Because who else are we gonna get? It's just them two. You know what I'm saying? Like who are we gonna get that's worth $20 million is gonna add to be a third wheel to this? Because it will be Dame, it will be Julius Randle. Like I said, it doesn't make sense. I guess RJ will still be here, and then we could pay to get another $20 million Merc. I don't know, Kelly Oubre or something like that. Let's say if we was to do that, it's all possible, but I mean, it has to be. It would just have to be like a gift from God that Adam Silver just hands us the Damian Lillard, say, here, take him, and then don't, and we don't give away any assets. It's just crazy, because at that point you could trade those 20 draft picks that we have, because that's all we got. You know what I'm saying? But that window, I'm trying to shout out Queens Court here. This is Steph from the Knicks. She says getting Dame shortens the window. It does shorten that window. It completely closes every door and everything that you have in your house. Every window in the house is closed. The back door is closed. They done nailed it. There's no way out. We get Dame Lillard. There's no way out. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Randall, like I said, Randall, RJ, if we're lucky, and then we sign like a dude like I said, Kelly Oubre, just for shits and
Oh my
giggles.
God.
But I'm saying, listen, we still got Mitchell Robinson. I don't know how. Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Dame Lillard, and then Kelly Oubre. That's actually a decent starting five. But the doors are closed. There's no other way for us to do anything else besides that. Everything else would be veteran minimum guys. Hopefully we make it good with a draft pick if we have one left. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically it. The door is completely closed on that situation. And then we'll have to hope that we got something left like a year, 2 years down the line when this whole thing burns to the ground, because it will. Dame Lillard is like 31, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about maybe a 2 year run with this group. Then after that, the whole world is gonna crash around us. And look, Dame will be 35, making 54 million. It's crazy, So we'll be. I don't know, man.
Shout outs to the NBA. Shout outs to the player union, first of all. Because whoever negotiated that, them brothers got their bread. But the main thing that they did though, honestly, was cripple. How can I put? They crippled player movement a lot. So when let's say, I'm gonna give you an example, the James Harden trade. What the Nets gave up to get Harden was blasphemous. Like they gave up so many picks. They gave up so much draft capital. Oh, and also shout outs to Miss Steph, Queens Court host. I appreciate you, Miss Steph. If you're still watching the show, but damn, I lost my train of thought. I had to shout out Miss Steph though. But
I mean, we're basically talking about the roster construction, how things are going with the cap and stuff like that. You were talking about the cap.
Yeah, it's like it's no way we could get Dame. There's no way we could get Dame, Kawhi, RJ, and Randall on the same roster, knowing that you have to pay Randall. And here's another thing that Knicks fans don't even mention, and I don't think the media mentioned this as well, that it's going to be a topic soon. So if we don't pay Randall this offseason, we could pay him in the 2022 offseason, and we'll have his bird rights. But you know who another player is on our roster who's up for a contract extension that offseason too? RJ Barrett.
Yes.
And I just thought about that. That's going to be a conundrum. Oh man, I don't know what the Knicks is going to do.
So the thing with it, this whole thing is that we have to make a decision. Either if we make a decision now, if we go with Dame, we have to go all in. Like I said, close every door in the house. This is what we're doing. But if we don't get Dame, or we get somebody else, we still have a window, because we got to pay RJ. There's Mitchell Robinson is another guy. RJ. All these guys are on different time thing. We actually was on the Frank window, but Frank closed that window on himself. But to keep the conversation going, like RJ is going to be a restricted free agent because of the thing. We got to extend him the quality, all that, the whole nonsense we got to do. So he's actually on a time thing too, because we have to continuously win in order for RJ to be like, listen, I want to stay.
That's
what I'm saying? All of these things are coming up now, man. So it's a lot of pressure on us to succeed. But the thing is, like we've been saying with this Loki stuff, we have to make a decision, and we have to bang and just hit it. We just got to hit it. Yeah. Go for it, and just keep it moving. Don't worry about what nobody has to say, and just go for it.
Let's get it right into this trade, right? So I see the Athletic, and we spoke about this team as well. It's with Golden State, and you see the Athletic. They want to put Wiseman in the 7th pick up for sale for a win now player. So I present to you, Evil. So in that trade, it was rumored Pascal Siakam. That was what the Athletic said. Pascal Siakam for Wiseman in the 7th pick. I'm pretty sure it's other stuff. So I present this to you. Would you entertain that trade for Julius Randle? Wiseman, the 7th overall pick, and I say, 14 sound unrealistic.
Wait, the 7th pick and the 14th pick?
Yes.
I don't think they would do that.
So they would not do that. So let's keep it Wiseman in the 7th pick. Would you
for Julius Randle?
Yes.
See, that's the thing. We're talking about timeline. So if that was on the table, I absolutely would do it. But then we would have to be on that timeline. You know what I'm saying? We would have to boogie, start making that those branches to make everything right. Because if you get that 7th pick, oh my God, here you go, man, with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So because here let's compare Siakam to Julius Randle. Right off the bat, Siakam just has like a better name recognition, but Julius Randle surpassed Siakam at this point. Depending on how you look at it, I can say that Julius Randle might be a little bit better than Siakam, but they're in the same group. You know, it depends on who you like.
Comparable. The one thing I say for Pascal, and then I know you gonna reply to this. He did show he was a championship number 2 option, and he does have a ring.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You know, but he also played with Kawhi too. Julius Randle never played with a Kawhi.
Right.
So anyway, just for the simple fact with the trade, I totally would do that. You know what I'm saying. But then you have to see who we're gonna pick at the 7th. So you know, you got Jalen Johnson's there, Davian Mitchell. Yeah, Scotty Barnes might possibly be there. So like, here's another thing too. Once you get that 7th pick, now you can entice a team to move up. You know, now you can take your 7th pick and the 19th to the 21 and say I want to move up to get a little bit higher. You know what I'm saying? Then you could do that. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do that with just the 19th by itself. So if you make that, see, it opens up a whole crazy freaking can of worms. Because if you trade Julius Randle for Wiseman, you got your big man. You still got Mitchell Robinson too. You know, now Mitchell Robinson's on the block. You know what I'm saying? But you know, just to keep it with this, that 7th pick and the 19th and the 21, now you could talk about moving up. So it just like I said, it opens up a whole nother can of worms. So I totally would do that.
But to answer real quick, just to answer Miss Steph, she said Pascal Siakam wasn't the number 2. He played with Kawhi and Lowry. I agree with that, but Pascal was the number 2 in the sense of Lowry would have the ball, but Pascal would get more shot attempts. I've seen playoff games where those 3 was together. I remember a playoff game, matter of fact, that Kyle Lowry had 0 points against the 76ers. I dare remember that game. And they still won that game because Pascal and Kawhi carried them. So in a sense, you're right. But for me, I'm just talking about shot attempts. We all know that Lowry was getting the ball way before Pascal in those situations. But I believe that Pascal was getting more shot attempts. I will have to fact check myself just to make sure. But I think he was the championship number 2 option. And he showed it and he proved it. So.
Well, I mean, if you have as a point guard, look at it from the point guard perspective. He has two main guys he could pass to from him, but you know, he a lot of times Lowry calls his own number, you know, and then when that ball comes back around, he makes that decision. Sometimes he's able to score. So having that 3-headed monster is so important in the NBA. You gotta have guys to play off of, you know what I'm saying, rather than just be options, you know, per se. In the scheme of basketball, you like I said, from the point guard perspective, you need to have 2 guys you're passing to. You know what I'm saying? From Siakam's perspective, he's a post guy slasher. You got to have somebody to kick it out to. You got to have somebody to make that interior pass to. If you don't have those guys, then it interferes with what you do. Same thing with Kawhi. Kawhi got to have that second guy, you know, pick and roll, you know, and all that other stuff. So all that plays into account too, man. But you know, yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, so you know, I love Kareem Grant. I love what you're saying in the chat, bro. Please, I love what you're saying in the chat, bro. Please continue to be objective. Like, I love people when they be objective. So
yeah, man, shout out to the chat. A lot of these guys are contributing, but you know, we're making these points, so I can't really highlight. But thank you, Kareem, for coming in. You're saying a lot of great stuff, man. I see everything.
So with that, so let me answer you, Kareem. Right. So the trade package is centered around Randall, and the Warriors is going to give Wiseman in the 7th pick. So I would entertain, and this is just me, because you got to realistically, you got to replace those 24 points. You got to replace those 24 points. Like just giving me Wiseman and the 7th pick for Randall is stupid. That's just in my opinion. I didn't say the whole trade, so I know people like, yo, they going crazy. You can't just do that. So I would entertain Andrew Wiggins in that deal as well, and I would love the trade package to be Wiggins, Wiseman, and the 7th pick. I would give Golden State Mitch, Randall, Knox. I would give him the 19th pick and the 32nd pick. And I would see if they would want that. But the only way Golden State would do that, right, is a lot of dominoes would have to fall in place. Draymond Green would have to be out of like, he would have to be 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out of the door, or management would have to punt on Draymond Green. Like, and if the Athletic put that article out and they know that Pascal is a 4, that smells to me that they might be punting on Draymond Green. How you feel about that?
Well, Draymond Green's mouth is getting stronger and his game is getting weaker. That's the thing with Draymond Green right there. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, to go back to the trade that you were saying, like, okay, if you add Wiggins to that deal with Wiseman and number 7, and now you got Julius Randle, Mitch, Knox, 19 and 32, I think that's an even trade. Because, you know, they're going to need a center back to get their defensive center back in there to get in the mix with them. They got Julius Randle that's going to come in there to be basically Draymond Green, basically a young Draymond Green without losing Draymond Green. Kevin Knox will be the extra shooter that they could use. And then these draft picks are more than likely guys that are probably going to be sitting in the G League. Probably they're not even going to worry about them because of, you know, cap problems and things of that nature. So I think that will work. I think that works. I would do that. I totally would do that with the way you added Wiseman. I would have did it already with Wiseman and the number 7 for Randall. I would have did that already. But adding Wiggins to the mix with the trade you came up with, I think that's an even trade.
And, you know, Kareem, you know, what else is killing me about your comment is Tibbs wouldn't want more rookies, right? So Quickly and Obi won't be rookies next season. And I'm fully expecting Obi Toppin to be a part of the offense for next season. No way, no how that man can't be a part of the offense next season. And also, Emmanuel Quickly. So if we could transfer the power of the locker room to the younger guys, you know, and empower them, you wouldn't have to worry about stuff like that. And then on top of the fact, Wiggins already played under Tom Thibodeau, right? So they got a rapport. You regardless of how people want to say it, I know his contract stinks, bro. We both know this. But the one question I always ask you, Diehard, and I always ask everybody else, who are we saving the cap space for? I need to know. But Brother Kareem, I need to know. Who are we saving cap space for? Because I'm looking at free agency, and Andrew Wiggins' contract is up at the end of 2023. So I just want to know, who are we saving cap space for? This is the season where you build on the 4th seed. You build on the 4th seed by making moves. We gotta make moves. And if certain players gotta be sacrificed, then so be it. And the last thing too, right? I gotta ask you this question before we get out of here. But your final thoughts on that whole Golden State trade and the whole Tibbs and rookies thing and replacing Mitch with Wiseman.
Well, the thing with Tibbs is going to play good players. You know, so it's not about young guys. Because look at Quickly beat out veterans. He beat out. It was Dennis Smith's job. And we traded him. You know what I'm saying? Derrick Rose did come in here. He eventually got the starting spot in the playoffs. But throughout the whole year, Derrick Rose still stayed in that spot. And they kept, you know, he's gonna play the guys that should be playing. He's not gonna just bench a guy just because he's benching him. So anyway, like I said, the trade, I would do it, man. Because no matter what you do, we can go a different route. But if you go this route, You're bringing me Wiseman, who if you give him the ball, he's going to score. I think that kid might actually be close to a 20-point a game scorer at some point in his career. That's how good I think Wiseman's going to be. Then Wiggins is already there. You know what I'm saying? So then you still got RJ. So RJ's definitely going to get better. So now you got 3 guys that can possibly score. And then you still got quickly on the roster. You got the number 7th pick. Holy shit! You got the 7th pick. You could possibly get a starting point guard for the future, because the top guys, when you want to say Cade Cunningham and Suggs, those are your best point guards. But then the next tier, like I said, Davion Mitchell is there. Davion Mitchell, I guess, will probably be our pick at that point. To be our point guard or whatever you want to do. There's so many different options at that point, and then you're still on the path to win. So I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with whatever. Just as long as we're proceeding to try to win. But just to add to it, that you were talking about the spending money. Everybody keeps talking about 2023 as being the greatest offseason, with all the free agents and stuff like that. But in the meantime, we can't be sitting here with our fingers stuck up our ass, waiting for something to happen. And then now we got the money. Oh, listen, we now instead of $60 million of cap space, we got $75 million of cap space. Oh my God, we can sign three max players. You know what I'm saying? And then the time comes and nobody comes here because we've been sitting on our fingers, smelling our fingers like this, for the last 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So eventually we got to do something. Like right now we have to make a stand, whether or not we build around Randall, or if we trade him to try to go that route. We got to do something. Either one. I think is going to take us to the same spot.
In the event that we was to do a trade like that, this is what I mean by timeline, right? In the event that we was to do something like that, and I would definitely give Chris Paul. I will offer him as much as he wants. And I know that's crazy. Like, oh God, like State talking about going to get one of these vets. But in a situation like that, right? I would want a guy like Chris Paul or even Kyle Lowry. I take one of the two, or even Mike Conley, but mainly Chris Paul.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
My bad.
Trust me, Dow. I don't want Mike Conley. I'm good on Mike Conley, but even with one of those guys. You get Chris Paul in here with Wiggins, Wiseman, RJ. You probably bring in another. You probably bring in another vet. You might re-sign Reggie Bullock because Reggie Bullock is Chris Paul man's. I'm with that. I'm with that. I would like to see that. I would love to see that. And then in that situation, darn, I wouldn't even care if Scotty Barnes was situational. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care.
You a crazy brother, man. You a crazy as hell. That's why you're here with me, man. You just a crazy dude. The politics though, behind all of that stuff. We already did the politics thing, man. I don't want to have to deal with that again.
That's true, but then now the politics work in our favors because now the politics is with guys that can actually play. For example, Colin Sexton in CAA, he can play. Right. You get what I'm saying? A lot of those guys who's on the market, if you're CAA or Clutch Sports, you're some way connected to the Knicks. And then we got World Wide West, so I'm hoping World Wide West could come through for us at some point. But listen, man, that trade or a trade like that, or if Orlando was entertaining, no, I don't want the 8th pick, yo. I don't want another 8th pick. If they wanted the 5th pick, if they was giving up the 5th pick, I would understand, and I would try to get that 5th pick with the best of my ability. But that 8th pick is a no-no. Not thought about that. I was going to throw a trade to you, but I thought about the 8th pick, Frederick Weiss. I'm done.
This draft is very, very heavy up top, man. So that those first 5 picks, I think it's very hard for any team to trade those picks, man. Because I think those guys are gonna be like short talents, man. You're talking about Cade, you're talking about Evan Mobley, Jalen Green, Suggs, and Kuminga, and add Scotty Barnes to that mix too. Those are all can't miss products, man. So I can't see any team trading those picks.
So, Kareem, I like what you just said. The Knicks should trade with the Spurs. I definitely wouldn't mind trading with the Spurs. I think the Spurs is another team, like they're stuck in no man's land. They need to just tear the whole roster down and start over. So I definitely would. I don't know. Give the Spurs some prospects for the 12th pick. It depends, but for me, I'm looking at that 9th pick. I'm looking at that 7th pick, and we already discussed about the Cleveland Cavaliers 3rd pick. So I'm looking at that Orlando Magic pick.
The 5th one though? Well, number 8. You're looking at number 8, I guess.
Oh, I ain't looking at number 8, bro. I'm looking at that 5th pick. I don't want nothing to do with 8.
But why would they? If you have the opportunity to get Kuminga, let's say if the draft went this way, if you had the opportunity to get Kuminga, why would you trade that away?
So they got I forgot the guy's name, bro.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
No. That's mad funny. You said exactly. Yeah. But they have Jonathan Isaac. They drafted a small forward last season. It's crazy because his name can't come to my mind right now. But they have a log jam at the small forward spot. They still got Terrence Ross over there. They traded Evan Fournier, but remember they traded for R.J. Hampton. They drafted Cole Anthony last season. You just re-signed Markelle Fultz. So it's log jams and then you traded for Wendell Carter Jr. So it's log jams everywhere. So you got to really think, like, is the Orlando Magic really going to draft Jonathan Kuminga?
Yes.
Are they? I don't think so. I don't think it's set in stone.
You get rid of the rest of the guys. You don't pass up on Kuminga. I think Kuminga, he looks bigger than what I saw before, man. He looks like he's gonna be ready to score immediately in the NBA when he gets here, and he might be able to defend.
Yeah.
Because
Kuminga, I think is Ghanaian, so I think he'll be all right. He's pure blood African. So
I got you.
I think he'll be good, man.
You're talking about Okike, Chuma, whatever his name is?
Yes, Chuma. That's
Chuma.
Name.
Yeah, he's gonna be a power forward probably for them. I think he's good. He's good though, But I think him and Kuminga will be great together.
Where that leave out now? Where's Jonathan Isaac gonna go?
Maybe he can come to the Knicks. Maybe that's the guy you're gonna get.
I'm good on him. His political views I don't agree with. Let's just leave it at that.
But there you go. So if his political views is messed up, why would Orlando pass up Kuminga to keep on Jonathan Isaacs? Yeah, man. You got to look for both sides, man. And my man Julian just put it out there. He's coming off ACL surgery too. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not the Orlando Magic can't trade. They can't do it, State. They can't do it, man.
But it's tough. But then you cause a log. Now you causing a log jam. You're literally causing yourself. I forgot they had Gary Harris, bro. So you mean to tell me, Diehard, they got Al-Farouq Aminu, right? You got Wendell Carter Jr. You got Morris Wagner, R.J. Hampton. They got Otto Porter Jr. Their roster is shit.
But none of those players are as good as Kuminga is going to be.
Do management feel that way? That's the thing. Because you got Cole Anthony. I'm gonna say this loud and clear. I really think Cole Anthony. I really like his ceiling, y'all. I like his ceiling. I like his confidence, y'all.
He's a lot of people slept on that aspect. He actually played really good. If he didn't get hurt, we probably would be really talking about him a lot more. But he still got Markelle Fultz. You know what I'm saying? For a young team, it's good to have both of them there. Wendell Carter, and then what's that? Your boy Mo Bamba too. They got all these different guys. Is Mo Bamba still there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see his name here.
That's another log jam with Mo Bamba, because you got Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter Jr. So you got Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Bamba, Jonathan Isaac, Otto Porter Jr., Chuma Okeke. How is all of these men playing, bro? And
none of those guys are playing over. None of those guys are playing over Kuminga. Some of those guys are gonna be sitting next to Frank Ntilikina on the plane to France, man. Probably.
Yo, that's tough. That's tough because the pod that we did before the draft lottery, I said this to you. I said, yo, I hope the Chicago Bulls pick full and conveys to the Magic. That's what happened. I said, I hope Cleveland move up in the draft. That's exactly what happened. And I said OKC is gonna move back in the draft. That's what happened. So it's lined up for us. It's lined up.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Evergreen. We about to wrap it up, man. But yo, Evergreen, yeah. I can feel Evergreen's energy right now. You know what I'm saying? I can feel the energy from the heavens shooting down on this podcast, man. So yeah, if you're free, I'll hit you up, man, and maybe you can get on the next one. But we definitely probably gonna wrap it up after this here. But you know, yeah, I can feel your energy, definitely, Evergreen, man.
I think the Orlando Magic take and the Warriors take probably set them off, man.
Yeah, the freaking the Thundercats signal came out. Like, Evergreen was like, "What the fuck?" You know.
Yeah. Oh, but yo, I mean, see, even on other pods we did, bro. I said the Orlando Magic is the perfect trade partner for the Knicks. Perfect trade partner.
I agree, but not for Kuminga though.
Not for Kuminga. Not for the pick. I damn sure don't want to even talk about that 8th pick. So we just gonna keep it Kuminga or Fultz or Isaac. And,
not for nothing. I think we could get that 8th pick though. I think we could if we're willing to make a similar trade that you said for Golden State. I think we could get that because Golden State will be getting the 7th pick. So what's the difference between the 7th and the 8th?
Colin Sexton and Kevin Knox. That's the difference. Eru, don't make me. I'm out of here, man. Put the player after.
Man.
Oh, God, man.
Yo, these podcasts are funny, man, because we talk about everything. It's crazy. We talk about everything in like all kind of ways, inside, out. It's crazy, man.
Oh, what's the difference between the 7th and 8th pick? Colin Sexton and Kevin Knox. God damn it, that's the difference between the 7th and 8th pick. George Hill, what's his name? Jordan Hill, or Steph Curry. That's the difference between one goddamn draft pick. That's the difference.
Absolutely.